welcome to the Move-In Day session, Move-In Day overview session. My name is Troy Skemper, and I'm the Director of Student Programs here at Trinity. As part of my responsibility, I actually coordinate our Move-In Days. And I say Move-In Days because we actually have multiple Move-In Days, the points of entry for kind of different ways that you might be exploring and experiencing Trinity. And so we're going to talk about kind of all of the different ways that first-time freshmen are going to come into this place in August. So I want to start out just by saying, like, Move-In Day, the actual day, is one of my favorite days of the year, right? So it's something that the amount of energy that goes into planning and anticipating the actual day, and then when you arrive here as students, is just, it's an incredibly exciting day, and the energy and life that arrives on this campus when all of you move in is something that I just look forward to all summer. Because as an extrovert, being on an empty college campus, summer is actually like really boring and dull for me, so I like really look forward to actual like life and students arriving back here. I look a lot forward to it. So I've coordinated Move-In Day at Trinity for the last 8 years now. It's a process that I'm really excited to be a part of. And I'm excited to say that in that 8 years, I have yet to lose anybody's stuff. At least not permanently lost anybody's stuff, okay? So, and I know that you all are excited to keep that streak going, right? Like nobody wants to ruin that streak for me. So we're gonna talk about kind of some processes and things in place to make sure that that move-in process goes smoothly, that you get into your suite and are able to settle in on whatever day you are moving in. Now, there's a real clear posture and intent to our move-in experience, and so I hope you, as you've navigated through Blueprints wholly, you've experienced kind of like a posture of hospitality and welcome, right? Like, and that's not something that's fake. Like, that's really our true desire for you to experience this place in a way that you continue to recognize that this is a place that you can and do belong, and that you can fully kind of experience and invest yourself in. So we're really excited to continue that journey with you and see Move-In Day as a continuation of the process that you're already a part of, and going deeper and even at Blueprints. So I know some of the parents have seen this at the start, and good, I was like gonna move over here because I forgot that there was that screen. Parents have seen this from last night as a student life purpose statement, and I present it now because I really want students also to understand and know what the purpose is of student life at Trinity. And so as you read this statement, you see that we seek to cultivate an academic community in which students flourish as they encounter the triune God with their whole lives, and discover the joy of their vocation. And so as you read that, I hope that it gives you a hint of how I'm going to approach my work. Right? Like this is the underlying purpose of the work that I do, but also of all of my colleagues in student life. And so when I say student life, I mean anybody that works for the Vice President of Student Life, so Vice President Starkenberg, Dean of Students Mark Hanna, but then residence life, campus safety, student programs that I work in, residence life, counseling services, vocation and career, campus safety, and athletics. So a lot of folks on campus who are here really, really working to make sure that you flourish through your experience. Okay, so Move-In Day overview. Now, students really drive, or really the power behind the move-in work that we do. So Amber here is going to get a help this year with our Move-In Day experience. But the exciting thing is we have about 100 returning upperclassmen students who are involved in student leadership in some way, who will be back on campus 2 weeks to a week early before most of your arrivals, to help with Move-In Day. And the great thing about that process is I don't have to do a whole lot with them to get them ready to help you move in. They're really excited to offer what they experience back to you in terms of a Move-In Day experience. And so that's great, because when we talk about hospitality, when we talk about welcoming people well, like they know what that feels like, and they know how important that is how important that was for their own start, and are excited to bring you into that experience as well. So it's a really natural type of experience. I don't really have to say you got to do it this way. They really want to, and they already know what our hope is. So I mentioned there's move-in dates, right? So we've worked really hard the last couple of years to make sure that any time that a first-time freshman and any student moves in, that there's continuity and consistency in terms of welcome. And so if you are a fall athlete, so if you're involved in women's volleyball, men's or women's soccer, or women's or men's cross country, you're going to move in a bit early for preseason, right? So that begins on August 6th, and our move-in time that day is from 1 to 4 p.m. If you're a student participating in the Bridge program, you're going to move in a couple of days early as well, which is Sunday, August 13th. Again, the move-in check-in time windows, there's some consistency of 1 to 4 in the afternoon. If you aren't a part of any of those programs, you probably know by now or might be still figuring it out, then you're going to move in on the 18th. And our move-in time for residential students for that day is between 2 and 10 p.m. And each of these days, there are going to be people present to help you move in, right? So we're going to have shopping carts on campus to load everything in. We're going to make sure that you get checked in terms of getting your key and getting your IDs if you don't have those already, and just making sure that everything is in place. Actually, the IDs are already done. I keep forgetting, like, that's a new process for us. So that's a breakdown in terms of dates. Now in terms of expectations, I've already alluded to and talked a little bit about kind of what the general posture is of our move-in experiences, and so we really want you to experience hospitality. And we want the move-in process, like the check-in process and unloading of the vehicle, to go as smoothly as possible. Like that's our overarching goal. And so when you arrive on campus, in whatever mode you choose to arrive in, I think last year we had someone come in an RV, like loaded up, we're ready to go. So we got cars, trucks, people are pulling trailers, moving vehicles. Like, some people are like, you realize how big these rooms are? Like, how are you going to cram all this stuff into one room? But they do it. It's amazing. But when you arrive on campus, when you park in either the lot by Tipster Hall or in West Hall, a student who's wearing a move-in day shirt, you can see the move-in day shirts from last year, will come up to your car. First thing they're going to do is introduce themselves, and we ask you a couple questions about who you are and where'd you come from. And the next question is going to be, have you checked in yet? So we want to help you navigate. We're never going to do this like, oh, it's over there. Like that's one of my pet peeves, is like, oh, check-in's over there, because that communicates to you like, I've got something more important to do than to show you where you actually need to go. They're going to walk alongside of you. So I was really excited when I started looking through move-in day pictures from last year. The photographer actually captured a lot of these things that were happening. Is the move-in volunteers actually walking alongside of students and parents, just happening, like, I need to go this, I need to go to this place, I need to go to that place. So at any point throughout the day, if you have a question, I need to talk to somebody in financial aid, I don't know where to go, I need to talk to somebody in the dining hall, I need to figure this out. Talk to anybody in a move-in day shirt, and their response to you should be, sure, let me help you figure out where that needs to, where that is, and I'll help you get over there. Because we want that process to be smooth, we want to eliminate stress, we want a spirit of hospitality to just be pervasive of this place. And we want, at the end of the day, for parents, we know that the priority is, by the time we leave, we want you to be as settled in as possible, right? Like, I'm going to feel better. We know the parents feel better about kind of this whole process is if everything is set up and I feel good. Like, okay, everything is in place, we've adjusted the furniture. And then a week later, when you're talking to your child and you find out like they moved everything again, just kind of like whatever, like you put all that work into rearranging the furniture and they just like swapped everything out. But there's a couple of other things that are in place on each move-in day to also just make sure that things are convenient and you don't really have to like go anywhere for maybe some basic necessities. So with each of our move-in days, both the Sundays and the Friday, there's a dinner provided on campus, right? So each one of those times there's dinner provided for families, students, and anybody else that you bring with you. On move-in day of the Friday, August 18, we also have we work with a bunch of local businesses to bring lunch items into campus. So there's 5 or 6 pizza places that bring, we probably got 100 to 200 pizzas that come to campus. We have a local sandwich shop. Well, I guess it's not local, it's a chain, Jimmy John's. But bring a big platter of sandwiches. A local bagel place brings bagels. There's coffee. There's ice water. We want you to, when you arrive on campus, just be like, okay, I want to get you settled in. I want to take a little break to take a bite, but know that, okay, we're content. We feel good. Everything is in place. At the end of our move-in day, actually at the end of each day as well, there's also going to be a parent meeting for for the early arrival types of move-ins, so the Sunday arrivals, those meetings happen with students. The Friday, August 18 move-in parent meeting is just for parents. So Vice President Starkenberg meets with all the parents because we're trying to prepare you to think about the post-dinner farewell, right? So think really deliberately about what do you want that moment to look like. So she really first introduces a lot of the folks who work in student life and then takes some time to kind of craft a vision for blessing your student in the midst of that farewell to make sure that it's a meaningful moment and an opportunity to do so. And then we have dinner, and then at the end of dinner, kind of on each of those days, is going to be the moment where politely we're going to say, okay, it's time for your child to do something, right? Like there's either for all athletes, there's an all athlete meeting. For Bridge, there's first class session. For FYF weekend, there's their first FYF class, and the rest of their time is going to be full. So from the beginning of that, at the end of that moment until the start of class for FYF weekend, your time, students, is going to be absolutely full of class, of service, of exploration, of social events. And we just pack that time out really deliberately to make sure that, because we know it's important just to kind of plug you into this place and kind of prepare you for the start of the semester. So talked about not losing your stuff, right? Like again, we're on the same page. No one wants to lose their stuff. We're excited about that. It's really simple. If you would just mark your belongings, right? So as you're packing, however you choose to pack, if you have boxes, just simply write your name, both the building, suite, and side that you're assigned to. So when you arrive on campus and you get your key, that key is going to be to the main suite door, but there's a right and a left room for each suite. That assignment is really important, right? So when we help you move in, we're going to say, okay, what building are you in, and what suite inside are you on? Because we want to put your stuff into that suite. And we're really deliberate to say what side of the suite that you're on, because we don't want anyone to experience like, oh, I'm anticipating moving into West Hall 215L, and when I get there, there's already two people in there because somebody who is assigned to the right side decided they wanted to move to the left. As students settle in and decide how they want to live in that space, if that adjusts in any way, that's really up to the students. But in the move-in process, those assignments are important, right? So we're going to pay really close attention to them. In your housing packets, you got a green immunization or blue immunization form, I think it is. Is it the green? What's the blue one? Two colors, either green or blue, but it'll say immunization form on it. We've talked, the whole goal is write a smooth check-in process. And so there's a couple of things that you can do ahead of time. That's one of the things is mark your belongings. The immunization form is not going to be something that we check in move-in day, but it is something that if you get this in the summer, we have to have the immunization form. We're required by Illinois law to have immunization records of every single student. And so throughout first semester, if we don't have those, Mabia Shadle and the group of students that work with her will follow up with you and say, we've got to get this. The other thing that will be part of your check-in process is your My Student Life forms. So in your student portal, there's going to be a couple of student life forms that you need to fill out prior to coming here. And as you check in, before you can fully check in, if you haven't done those, we'll actually figure that out. And there will be a time where, oh, you didn't fill out your student life forms. Please come with me, and we'll actually have computers on hand if you don't do that. But if you do, it just like completely streamlined process. No hitch at all. We'll roll you right in. You'll check in smoothly and be ready to go. So it's just like simple things that you can take care of in advance that just make sure that it's a quick and easy process. The other things I recommend is, one, maybe consider your meal plan options. So when you filled out your housing card, maybe you didn't put a lot of thought into how many meals you might want. And so as the semester starts, you have some flexibility to change your meal plan to another one. So if you just kind of like check something because you wanted to turn in the card, maybe look back at the brochure and that you can get. I think they're available at the Student Life office or Student Life table in the Info Expo and the Creative Dining table. But take a look at those meal plans and make sure that you have the one that you want to have that's going to fulfill the needs that you have. And then last thing is, now that you've registered, so everyone in this room either has registered already or is still waiting for your appointment, but once you've registered, you're fully considered a Trinity student, right? So whatever email that you utilized in your maybe your admissions information, as we move through the summer, we're going to switch exclusively to your Trinity email, and especially as you start in August, the only way the college will communicate with you is via your Trinity email. And so it's really important that you start checking that periodically now, and then especially once you arrive in August, that you're paying attention to that email as something that you're either linking to your phone or connecting to something that you're checking regularly, because that's how the college is going to communicate with you in any way. Kind of wrap up, so Dr. Kika this morning talked, kind of cast his vision for participation in the broader world, right? Like he talked about this idea. Move-in day is important. Like, it's really important. We understand the idea of getting settled, the idea of welcoming well, but we welcome you well because we want you to have a great experience throughout your time here at Trinity, not just because we want you to have one good day. And so I always challenge people in this moment of this presentation to really think intentionally about how you want to start here at Trinity. Have a bit of a plan of, I want to be involved, I want to get connected to this, I plan to, when I go to class, this is where I'm going to sit, right? Think about the habits that you establish at the start of something. Like, how often do you actually get to start fresh in a place? Maybe you haven't done that in a little while unless you moved in the midst of high school. When you come here in August, you have a chance to set an entirely new set of patterns, rhythms, and habits to how you embody a place. And so I challenge you to think really deliberately about, okay, first day class, where do you intend to sit? Do you want to be back row, or do you want to be like my guys in the middle, or you want to come up in the front? Do you want to engage? How do you want to engage with your professors? Are you going to actually introduce yourself to them so that you get to know them? Or are you going to kind of just be someone who comes and goes? Like, think really deliberately about that. And then about involvement. We have a ton of opportunities right from the start. So first weekend of the semester, August 25 of this coming year, we have something called the Involvement Fair, where all of our clubs and organizations are going to be out in the lawn over by West and Tibstra Hall, encouraging you to get connected to those things. And that invitation is going to be an open invitation that you can take advantage of throughout your time. But I encourage you to think about from the start, how do you want to get connected and involved, both in terms of like just being welcomed, but then also extending, like, you can welcome and help shape this place even as a freshman. So don't miss out on that opportunity, because it's a pretty unique one, and it could really set you into momentum throughout the rest of your experience. That could be a really beautiful thing. That is all I have. I'm happy to stick around for a little bit longer if people have specific questions about kind of your individual circumstance, but I want to also throw it out that if anyone has questions about kind of the broader experience that they think might be beneficial for everybody, to feel free to throw those out right now. We good? Cool. Okay, thank you.